Hey everybody, just had to run out of the room and grab my camera real quick and come back in, so I'm not sure who's got what anymore. But I did just throw in a few of the cubes of frozen Mysis shrimp. You know, you get them in those little blister backs, you pop them through from the front. I had a few old ones in the tank. There we go. That chub that just went into the back has got a mouthful of them. I found some old packages in my freezer that still had some Mysis shrimp in there. I used to feed my tanks a lot more frozen foods, like frozen bloodworms and stuff like that. And so I threw some frozen cubes of Mysis shrimp just in the top hole, still frozen. And of course these Creek Chubs came up and just grabbed the entire cubes. I expected them to sort of melt and get bobbed around, and you know, as little bits of shrimp broke loose, they'd, you know, get nibbled on. But I'm used to watching neons and tetras and fish like that. I'm not used to throwing cubes of stuff in there for these big Creek Chubs. So two of them have an entire cube in their mouth. I think it's my really big one. And then the next size down, I think this one actually just swallowed the whole frozen cube. So hopefully that's not going to cause too many issues with it having basically a lump of ice in its stomach. So we'll have to see how that works out. And then the other one was one of these larger. I don't think it was necessarily the next larger one down. I think it's this one here, the one that just went under that log into the back. If you look at his mouth and gill plates, it almost looks like he's a mouth brooder with a mouthful of young, but I think that's a mouthful of frozen Mysis shrimp, and he's been spitting it out and sucking it back in. It's been interesting to watch, but it was definitely a learning experience for me. I'd never considered that one of these chubs would be able to fit one of those entire ice cubes in its mouth, let alone swallow it. Now, I did see this big one over here down at the bottom that was doing that sort of spitting it out, sucking it back in behavior that fish will do with like dried food or frozen food sometimes. So it probably did not swallow an ice cube in its entirety. So I'm not particularly worried about it from a health-wise point of view. See, we got this one here that keeps sort of opening and closing its mouth in a funny way, and it seems to also have a larger belly. So that's probably the other one that got the sucking cube I put in there. So lesson learned, next time I want to do something like that, I'll definitely thaw it all out in a cup first and then pour it in there, and then let all the currents swirl the tiny little Mysis shrimp around, and then the fish of course will have plenty of activity after the fact. But I just wanted to get the camera and get that on video in case we saw anything interesting or dramatic with, you know, fish putting a whole entire ice cube in their mouth. You never know what was going to happen. I didn't know if it would spit it out because of the cold, or if it would wind up swallowing it down whole, or what. But there you go. That's my little update here on my native tank. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. You never know what you're going to get with me. I always grab the camera every time I see something interesting, and then you'll get to see it shortly thereafter. So again, if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.